So, today on SuburbCraft, I'm going to be doing another tutorial, or Let's Build, and this one will be of an apartment complex, or at least one of the buildings, and then maybe some landscaping and design stuff afterwards. If all three buildings are going to be identical, what's the point of watching me build all three? Or more specifically, why should I record all three if it's going to be all laggy like this? But anyway, the building we're going to be working on today is one of the buildings of the planned Rosebrook apartment complex, which will eventually be put into my main city, Rose Heights, at some point or another. As you can see, I already have the front facade, if you will, completed, and I just decided to pick this up, right in the middle of this. Fortunately, I don't have anything on the inside or the other side of the building built yet, but that is what I'd like to cover during these next couple episodes. And the pacing and spacing of the uploads might be a bit sporadic because schedule-wise, it isn't my schedule. I don't know, I'm a procrastinator, and I always put this sort of thing off, so of course I have less time than I really do have to work on these. But schedule-wise, I can really only fit in a couple of these a day, if that, simply because for most of the day everybody's home, and of course, my brother mostly, but he's very loud and obnoxious, and it wouldn't be terribly professional to have him in the background, like he always is. So bear with me, on the pacing, upload frequency, that sort of thing. And with that intro or explanation being done, let's just fill this in real quick. One more. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So as you can see over on this side, we have the side of the building set up already. And I think, well, where am I going with this? I guess the thing that I would like to say as a general tip to all the builders out there who are watching, what I like to do is design the outside of the building first, and then design the rooms on the inside to match with the outside, because I use basically exclusively real-life buildings to base these on, and I don't always, know how the insides are laid out. So I basically just, like I said, I base it around the exterior and take my best guess as to how it's actually laid out. I think that's fairly commonplace, but maybe it's not. Anyway, I'm just taking a quick look at the side here, because I want the other side to be basically identical to this one. So, we have two with this, okay. Alright, well, let's get started on the other side. Okay. So we already have one. So let's go ahead and build up to the top here. And we'll do this. Now this first layer, or the layer of wool, will be like the actual ceiling, that's visible within the units. And this, the stone slabs, that's basically just like an edging sort of effect, or something to make it a bit more pretty to look at, It's not necessary, but it's aesthetics, that's kind of the whole point of this series. So, let's see, let's just go back and make sure that checks out. That's always my problem with this, is remembering, is that how it went, or is that, it's always difficult. I have such a terrible, terrible memory, I forget things left and right, and oh boy. Okay, so going back to this side, now we're going to start on the windows. What I'm going to do is do one block of colored wool, sort of like shutters, and another block on the other side, and two panes of glass in the middle for a window that is 2 blocks wide. Now we're going to cover that, make this here, and let's see, going up. See, this is what I'd experienced before, the most recent couple updates. I'd always have to be looking directly upward, actually fly because it would be so laggy. But with this, now we're basically just going to copy the shutter sort of thing, except we're going to make it 2 blocks high instead of just 1. This is because the lower window, the one I just did, the units that'll be down there are basically just lower floor things, which means most of them will be underground, with, I believe, a 1 block above ground level. Excuse me. And basically just going to do the same with this top one. Put in the shutters. 2, 2. And for this episode, I'd like to complete the sidewall. Schedule-wise, I don't know how exactly that'll work. Well, if it'll work, I should say. Hopefully it will. I'm on pretty good track here. And we're going to fill in these spaces with windows now. With glass panes, I should say. And I'm going to go back down. 1, 2. 1, 2. Alright. Now that's 1/2 of it. Let me just go over here and check again. I think I'm getting this right so far, but I just want to be sure. I don't want to, Well, that's why I rely so heavily on MC Edit, is because oftentimes when I would build things basically just from scratch, with no editor use whatsoever, I'd always forget something or, mess something up in one way or another, and it would be basically asymmetrical, as they say, and that would irk me. Let's see. So these will be set back 1 block from the outside. I think it goes like this. I know this is probably pretty painful to watch because, you're watching the recording, so it's like, oh, it's just like that. Oh, you're so stupid. But, it's I don't know. Alright, so we're going to frame this with white wool, basically to act as an edging on the inside to kind of smooth things off a bit. And we're going to do this up top. And boop, boop. And now, let's see. Yep, this is how it should be. Now for this one, we're going to do 3 blocks rather than 2 like we did with the last one, because this is where the hallway is going to be, and the windows in the hallway don't need to be quite as tall as the windows in the actual units. Now, you can make it however you want, basically. Obviously the choice is yours if you're going to be the one who's building this, but I think this is closest to the real deal, and it makes sense to me, anyway. So there's that. It's inlaid 1 block, as I think I said. And we're basically just going to copy this side on the other side now. So we're going to do just blocks all the way up. Not that high, but do that. Let me keep that. That. So much lag. Everything is tuned down to low, and I don't have anything else running, but it's always like when the game is running nicely, I never am in an ideal situation to record. There's always some background noise or something else going on. Jeez, the bats are showing up now. That's one thing that I really don't like about the most recent couple updates, is the bats. I mean, they're kind of cool, in survival, in like the spooky caves and stuff, but when you're building stuff like this, and they're just swarming all over the place, getting in your face and being like gnats here in Minnesota, it's just extremely unpleasant, Look at them. Look at them all. And the issue seems to be exclusively with worlds created after they were added in. Because Rose Heights, that world was created quite some time ago, and there was really only 1 spot on the map where the bats spawn en masse. Well, not even en masse, just a couple of them every so often. So I don't know if that's going to be patched or if there's a mod. Normally I honestly try to stay away from mods, because... Okay, well I have to end this. I'm sorry. I will pick up here. Well, actually, I'll just finish the rest of this later on, but once that's done, I'll pick up on that. Please do stay tuned. That should be sometime soonish, but thank you for watching. Goodbye.